Stellaris is now 4 years old, if you can believe it. In celebration, the 4.7 Wells update has been released on PC, introducing new graphical enhancements, edict changes, galactic community and federation features, habitat upgrades, and much more. Hello, Legion, it's Hadrian. Thank you for being here. We're going to celebrate the game's anniversary with a unique and highly indulgent series in the game's most recent expansion, which is called Federations. This is Symphony of the Stars. When I started my last series, I floated the idea of doing a sequel series to Song of the Stars, and the responses were almost universally positive. That was my very first series in Stellaris, way back in the game's launch version. I've done more than 10 in the years since, not including patch coverage videos. Over that time, Stellaris has become one of the most popular sections of my content, and now we're going to celebrate by going back to the very beginning. I mentioned this series was going to be indulgent. If you know Song of the Stars, you already know what I mean. If you don't, what I mean is that the series will follow the story of a lone precursor empire. And therefore, from a gameplay perspective, we will focus exclusively on an easy viewing, easy listening, empire building approach, where the only AI empires will be primitive civilizations that emerge after the game begins. Rather than spending any time on patch coverage, I thought I'd jump straight into this one. Let's go over the empire and game setup, and then we'll just get the game going. One of the things that I'm most excited about when it comes to this series is that when we first played as the Voices, way back before we ever played as the Roman Star Empire, the Unified Solar Republic, the Vision Cooperative, the Oranathi, or either of their offshoots, the High Dominion of Sindar, we haven't played as the Elixir Collective yet. But before we played as any of these, the Voices in the original version of Stellaris couldn't be a hive mind because hive minds didn't exist yet. So now we can properly, using the game's mechanics, represent narratively this species that I designed in the very first version of the game. So I have done some updates to the biography and also to the origin. As you can see, we are a remnant. So the Voices now are something that came before that is re-emerging, just to take advantage of how that can change the way that the narrative of the game plays out. So that's a bit of a twist on the original series that sets things apart. Of course, we are also playing as a hive mind, but let's first have a quick refresher on this slightly updated Empire bio. Out from the deepest darkness, the chorus of the Voices has returned. The first technologically ascendant race of the present galactic cycle, the Voices are a terrifying and enigmatic remnant of the galaxy's last great cycle, a unified hive mind bent on total dominion over the stars. Though the hive's desire to establish its hegemony is rooted primarily in primitive self-preservation instinct, and its conscience thus not ultimately malevolent, they will brook no opposition from lesser races who dare to challenge them. In accordance with prophecies from a bygone era, Quorum Viranth, leader of the chorus and harbinger of the galaxy's future, has taken control of the hive mind. The time has come to make its voices heard. So, the main change, of course, there's lots of changes, but Nal'Zorath is now a relic world because we are playing as a remnant origin. And as a species, we are hive-minded, so we're not affected by happiness. We're strong. We have additional army damage and more worker pop resource output. Leaders live 10 years fewer at the moment, but we can eventually remove that. We are fleeting for now. We don't live very long. We're extremely adaptive, so habitability is increased by 20% on all worlds that we encounter. And we are slow breeders, which means our pop growth speed is reduced by 10%. However, because we're a hive mind, we also have a growth speed bonus of 25% and an Empire Sprawl penalty reduction. It's really an Empire Sprawl bonus of 25%. So the penalty is reduced by a quarter, so we can expand a little bit more aggressively without feeling that crunch. And of course, we are one mind. These are our civics, which means we have additional monthly unity. And we are ascetic, which means we get additional habitability and a reduction to our amenities usage. We are a Gestalt consciousness, so we have a reduction in war exhaustion gain. Not going to have a lot of war, at least early on, because again, we're going to be the only empire in the galaxy to start. Other empires may emerge, and I'm going to increase the probability that they will emerge, and I'll show you that in just a second. But war exhaustion is going to be 20% less when and if we do engage with those forces early on. Later in the game, that is a real possibility. Whether or not it's really a threat is another question entirely. Really, the only way that another empire would be able to pose any kind of challenge militarily in this series, again, this is going to be easy listening, highly indulgent, like just ridiculously over-the-top empire-building focused series. It'll be a lot of fun. But there is a possibility that a space age era primitive civilization could emerge very early to the galactic stage. If that happens, then maybe we will have a war on our hands. And the reason I say that is we are going to play on Commodore difficulty, so they would have a bit of a boost, but chances are we will be ahead of the curve. So they would have to be close to us, and they would have to be close to ascending beyond the space age in order to pose a threat. It's going to be fun. And of course, monthly influence is boosted by +1 as well, as you can see there. So that's going to help us expand a little bit more quickly in the very beginning. Let's play as the voices. This is our game setup. We have a huge 4-arm spiral galaxy. No AI empires, advanced AI starts, fallen empires, marauders, all off. Tech cost, habitable worlds, and primitive civilizations. Well, these two are set to 1x. Primitive civilizations is set to 3x. I did some playtesting on 2x, and I still didn't encounter that many, so I increased it by another 50%, which is 3x. And so that will hopefully make things a little bit more interesting in terms of encountering primitives, because that's going to be our one chance to interact with lesser life forms. And I do want there to be plenty of that. As much as I'm going to enjoy this series, and I know you guys are looking forward to it as well, based on the feedback that I got, and it's the original Stellaris content on my channel, I'm finally coming back to it, I do want to make sure that there is ample opportunity to encounter lots of primitive civilizations and civilizations that might actually uplift. So as I said, that's what I changed in order to make it more probable that we will encounter alien empires later in the game. Crisis strength will keep at 1.25x. Commodore difficulty, all of the start years and the victory year we will keep the same. Advanced neighbors, of course, is off. Empire placement is set to random. I don't think that has an effect since there are no AI empires, but in the off chance that it affects primitive civilization placement, I'm going with random. And then we have 2 guaranteed habitable worlds. Caravaneers are off, and then these are set to their standard starting values. I've used different values in the past couple of series. The patch kind of reset these to their defaults, and that's fine. I'm going to go with just the defaults for now, which is 1x across all 3. So hyperlane density, abandoned gateways. I think I've always gone with 1x hyperlane density, but abandoned gateways I've reduced, and wormhole pairs I've reduced. One was 0.5, one was 0.75. Can't remember which was which, but that's the game setup. Let's jump in. Okay. I never read that on a custom species on really any of my playthroughs because they're all custom species, because the game's auto-generated intro narrative differs from my own. So let's see where we are in this galaxy. Looks like we're about right there. So galactic east, center east for the most part, slightly southeast, east-southeast. And we will get started with a couple of things here. First of all, let's go ahead and choose our research and make sure that our researchers are adequately positioned. So we're going to have a little bit faster physics research to begin. And then depending on the projects we choose, maybe some boosts here. We are also using, one thing they added in the patch is a new name list for hive minds. And we are using that. So that's another thing that you can see for the first time in this series. Hasn't existed before version 2.7, but there's a lot more than just that. And we'll see it as we go along. So I'm going to start with just the physics research boost here. I will also go with the society research boost here. Okay, perfect. So we're going to start with just the research boosts and let those go along. Of course, the physics boost will take the least amount of time. There is some overlap here, though, which is nice. So you're seeing the effect of these bonuses. There are no bonuses in effect here because these don't match up. So this is 104 months. A 10% overall speed bonus reduces that to 82. And then the 15% bonus to industry tech. Interestingly enough, check this out. So hang on, maybe there's something about this particular character. No, it's just Spark of Genius. That's so interesting, isn't it? Really trying to science out where the numbers are coming from. You would think with a research bonus at that level, it might have to do with, let's have a look here. Oh, we're putting out an even number of research on the homeworld as well. Okay, started out with a stumper. Not going to worry about it. Let's go ahead. And I think I will build some additional mineral production first, And then I will set up. We only have the 100 to start. All right, let's go to speed 2. Our first science ship is here. We'll be building more momentarily. We're going to go ahead and do our normal exploration orders. Matter of fact, I'm just going to select move and do this. And we'll keep an eye on any planets that they spot as we go through. Now, next order of business. Let's build a second science ship so that we can do that a little bit faster. Nalzaroth. Okay, so because this is a... Oh, hey. Already found a 24-slot Savannah world and 19-slot Tundra world. Not bad. Go ahead and survey that system then, please. So because we're a hive mind, we have some different buildings. The hive core, synaptic nodes are the equivalent of both the... So this gives us both unity and admin cap. So this is the administrative complex from a non-hive empire, but also it provides additional unity, kind of like an Otterton monument. So this is kind of two buildings in one. The research labs, of course, alloy foundries, pretty straightforward. Spawning pools are kind of like gene clinics because they boost additional... They create not only pop growth speed, but also amenities. And then these buildings are boosts to housing and amenities, just hive warrens. So we don't have any more minerals to expand Nalzaroth just yet, but I might have enough energy. No, not quite. Need 118. Or need more than 118. All right, let's go up to speed 2 and let that science ship expand. So the very first system, it's pretty small. The Ruthlessly system. Class G star right next door. I'll be curious to see if there are any special modifiers here. Any nebula nearby? Okay, closest nebula is over here. They've added some visual effects for nebula in 2.7, and they're pretty cool. Construction unit completed the construction of a mining station. Okay. Let's go ahead and build that research station next. All right, science ship is ready. Can't recruit you just yet unless we sell food. Haha, now we can recruit you. So I think I saw, yes, anomaly research speed. So we have a 15-year-old scientist, motile organ 21. You are now, and what's your name? So 74 is in charge of the first science ship. So you're going that way. Why don't you go this way? Do it the way I did before. So for those of you who might be watching for the first time, my general approach to early game scouting, because I want to find planets primarily, but I also, want to survey the systems, is I will tell my scouts to move first before I queue up a bunch of survey orders. Because sometimes the immediately adjacent system might have a bunch of asteroids and planets and just astronomical bodies that you can mine for resources, but what you really want is, where's my first planet? That's what you really want to find out. And so when I spot a planet, I'll have the science ships just move around looking for that icon. And as soon as they spot it, what I then do is order them to survey those systems. And then usually have a second science ship that's going around just surveying normally. But there is a method to my madness, in case you were curious. All right, so we're currently producing just 11 alloys per month. The first league, hey, this is actually the exact same precursor that we had in my practice playthrough for this. I did play a little bit with 2.7 yesterday before this series intro was recorded. So we've recovered artifacts from an ancient alien civilization on Ruthari 1. If what we've learned from these artifacts is correct, this civilization was some sort of a confederation that consisted of many different alien races. They called themselves the First League and appeared to have coexisted in relative peace some 2 million years ago. Though the Ruthari system lies in the region of space that seems to have made up the core of their territory, right next door, the partial map found among the artifacts indicates that this First League may have covered a significant portion of our galaxy before its eventual collapse. So this is what I love about our narrative setup. Because we are now playing as a version of the Voices, an updated version of the Voices that is a remnant of a bygone version of the Voices, a little bit of mystery as to how they got that way and how they lost their hegemony, how they became a remnant, as opposed to just a new empire. This kind of makes sense. This is another indicator from the game that something has come before. So we're playing more into the overall narrative of Stellaris just by virtue of the way the Voices were set up this time. I'm so excited about this. This is going to be fun. All right, so Nalzaroth is ready for another building, but we don't have the minerals for it just yet. So we're just going to look around, stay on speed 2 for the time being. Let's take a look at what else we're discovering. So Grugmora is our immediately neighboring star, and of course Gozam. Not sure what class star that is. All right, not seeing any other planets just yet. Tell you what, why don't you go there? That was a control ship. Ruthari system has been fully encountered. We've detected the presence of a pre-space... Wow, that's awesome, right next door. Pre-space age civilization on Ruthari 3 in the Ruthari system. Atmospheric contaminants and light pollution visible from orbit. Oh, wow. Talk about being close and near the space age. Are consistent with a densely populated machine age society. They appear to have mastered air travel, and factories are mass-producing goods in their cities. We should consider building an observation post above their world to study them more closely. Interesting. Oh, it's so awesome.
Our construction is complete.
So our third science ship is up. I'm going to go ahead and go for discovery first. So this will give us the new edict, map the stars, and let's take a look at this screen, shall we? Because things are a little bit different now. The way that edicts are working in 2.7 and beyond is that you can turn on an edict and it never goes away. It has an initial cost, but then as long as it's running, you get the bonuses. It's pretty freaking cool. There are still some timed edicts, but a lot of these, you can just fire them and they give you a certain bonus as long as they're active. But you can only have so many active at one time. Currently our edict cap is 1, and if you go over the edict cap, as you can see, it affects Empire Sprawl, which is not to say that you can't go over the edict cap. You just have to keep an eye on Empire Sprawl at the same time. So you're balancing that mechanic against everything else. Awesome stuff. All right, still nothing we can do here just yet, but we absolutely need to build a starbase in Ruthari. So let's go ahead and send them that direction. We're also going to build a new construction ship as soon as we can, but probably prioritize the building of that starbase. So they're not quite pre-space yet. They're machine age. So they're like, if they've mastered air travel, then they're 20th century Earth, basically. I love that they started right next door to us. That's fantastic. I really do. Like, I think that as much as I'm going to enjoy the empire building aspect of this, I like that that the game has mixed things up a little bit and given me something that close. How about we... Yeah, see, I don't want to sell really anything. So I'm going to have to wait to hire a researcher for that. All right, we are almost to a point. It's going to be a couple of months. A little over 2 months before we can build that starbase. All right, so tell you what, why don't you go ahead and survey this system, the Hika system. There's a lot going on here. This is it's a neutron star. Cool. So there could be some resources here. Since we're going to be taking this system, we can take the one next door and possibly get more resources. We kind of need it at the moment. All right, so we're almost to 400 minerals. Matter of fact, in 3 days we will be. Now let's pause and make a decision. I think alloy foundries, probably. Yeah, alloy foundries it is. Let's increase our alloy production. Nice. All right. Let's go ahead and survey the system. There's a tropical and ocean world, so 2 colony worlds in a jaundice. Fan-freaking-tastic. Look at this. We've got a jaundice 1 and this ocean world, a jaundice 2. 21 slot. Big old ocean planet. By the way, can we just take a moment to appreciate... I've pointed this out before, but I mean, look. You can tell that a jaundice 1 is smaller compared to a jaundice 3, which makes sense because this is a 21 slot world and this is, again, a 12 slot world. So the game actually makes the larger terrestrial planets appear larger. I just think that's awesome. Let's build a starbase in Ruthari. Being able to keep an eye on the Gorathi, that's what they're called, the Gorathi civilization, will give me more society research as well. So that can only help. Dang it. Hang on. We don't have... Lock, please. Thank you. Don't have a scientist that will suffice really well for our current science ship. So we'll just go with the 3 starting science ships, and fairly soon we'll build a second construction ship so we can do things a little bit faster. That energy will help, but looks like there are minerals, rather, in Heka, so we'll need to take advantage of that. Oh, nice. Another slot has already opened up here. One thing they've removed from the game is you can no longer spend food to boost planetary growth, which I honestly appreciate the fact that they've removed that. I really do. All right, mining station, and then definitely build that observation post. We need to keep an eye on them. We might need to annihilate them, to be honest. They're a little bit too close for comfort. I might just bomb the crap out of them. Again, preservation instinct. Okay, so one thing I want to do, let's pause for a moment of ship design. One thing about the current name list is that it has that issue, not to nitpick on the first episode of a new patch, but it has that issue with design names where, hang on, let's first stop auto-generating. See if I can show you what I mean. Yeah, that thing. A design of that name already exists for another ship size. Entity Zaid. Well, in this case, it's actually true. But now look, Entity Vav. It says it already exists. No, it doesn't. That's a lie. So one thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use a different naming system altogether for my ships. So this is going to be one of one. And basically what I am going to do is number the ship designs, but then also number the generations of design types. In other words, corvettes, destroyers, cruisers, battleships. And that way we don't have to worry about clicking through and finding a randomly generated name that fits each time. So this is our very first frigate. I'm going to go ahead and delete the original. We'll refit them in a moment. And then in this case, I think what I'll use is... maybe I will just stick with these names for the defense platforms. But it'll be less to manage if we do something different in this case. So let me also go ahead and set up a missile boat. This is going to be the 2 of 1. Also a slight nod. This is, of course, very reminiscent of one of the great sci-fi hive minds, the Borg Collective, of course. Now, I think I'll go with mass drivers for the small slot, and we'll have deflectors here. Perfect. Set them to auto-upgrade. Okay, are we golden? Yeah, we're golden. Now, I can mess with defense platforms, but we're not going to worry about it just yet. Let me now hop into the designer. We're going to retrofit this to the 1 of 1. We're going to say that we want 5 of those. And 5 of those. We won't be able to build them yet, but it's a step in that direction. All right, so the alloy foundries will help us produce the alloys we need to expand a little bit faster. Ajandis is there's not a lot going on in Ajandis aside from the 2 worlds, so it'll be good to have those colonies set up, but let's see. Survey speed increased by 35%. Or research alternate. Let's go with survey speed first, but we'll probably do that next. Yeah, we'll do that one next for sure, because extra research alternatives as soon as possible, regardless of whether you're playing in a playthrough like this that's so highly... this is just... Again, it's just so over the top in terms of the way that I've got this set up. It is like the very first series that I did on the channel, so it feels good in a lot of ways. But it's also hilarious. All right, we found an anomaly. It's hard. Let's leave it be for now, because that's going to take 900 days. All right. I do want to upgrade the fleet so that these are the correct design. All right, now we are not quite at a point where we can hire a scientist for that ship yet, but we will be soon. Let's go ahead and move you here. Good. So let's build our second construction ship. Ooh, and a third? Sure, and a third. We are producing more alloys now. Over 50% more alloys per turn, in fact. We're making 4 influence per turn. We have 165 at the moment, so we're able to expand as much as we would like. We don't quite have the alloys to do it, but we will very shortly. And we need, in about 15 days, we'll be able to build something else here. The question is, what will we build? So this would turn minerals into research points. Again, because we are a hive mind, a lot of the way that production works, the economy just plays out differently. So it's going to have a different feel from the other series I have going on the channel right now for a number of reasons. I think I will go ahead and build a research lab here. I do have to keep an eye on Empire Sprawl. In my practice play, because it's been so long since I played as a hive mind, I didn't notice the synaptic nodes are both the Unity boost and the admin cap boost. So my admin cap was a bit of a problem, and I was like, how the heck do I, other than research, how the heck do I boost that? And then I finally realized, oh, that building, that's how. Nice, we have an arid world here. Let's go ahead and survey that too. It's arid, so we're not going to be able to work with it as soon, but still. All right, you go there. All right. Are you still moving around? Yes, you are. Oh, nice. All right, Alpine World here. Tell you what, why don't you go ahead and survey here, and then there, and then there. I think I've found, now that I've found those two colonizable worlds right next door, I'm happy with our starting setup. Also need to keep an eye on energy credits. The opening economy is going to be, as it always is, a little bit wobbly, but we'll do our best to counteract it. We discovered a new archaeological site in Absajamin. Very good. Scans of Absajamin 4 uncovered an artificial chamber deep beneath the surface. Its purpose and origin unknown. Magnification revealed an excavated shaft leading from the surface to the subterranean vault. Further analysis will require sending an expedition down to the surface of Absajamin 4. All right, so this planet over here is a very bright Class G star, kind of like Ruthari.
Our construction is complete.
Good. Why don't you go ahead and build that research station next? And you definitely build that Agendus station. And we can go ahead and colonize Agendus 3. Well, actually, hang on. Let's see which... All right, we have Dust Desert there. Oh, man. Agendus 3 actually has a habitability and pop growth speed penalty and poor quality minerals. That sucks. So the smaller world is actually better in a couple of ways. But Agendus 3 does have Betharian fields, so that'll help with power production, at least. Okay. Research alternatives increased by 1. Yep. More choices, please. And thanks.
Our construction is complete.
There goes our energy surplus. So what we're going to have to do is...
Our construction is complete.
Sell for a bit. Now, one thing we can do is we can build star bases. Hive minds can build... I mentioned in my very last episode of Final Federation 2 before we took a break that they've brought back, or this is what I said, that they brought back solar panels. But it turns out that is just for hive minds. As much as that blew my mind at the time when I said it, like, why would they do that? There is a reason, and that is that hive minds don't have trade. And so there's no energy income from, the typical means that you would get energy income. So as a consequence of that, let's go ahead and hire... I think we'll just go with the youngest, since we don't have a good ship research option. Okay, so why don't you go here? You'll go here, and then here, and then here. We'll be doing auto-explore before long, but... Okay, and then these guys can survey there. Perfect, all right. Double checking. Yep. Golden. All right, and this is actually a jump out to the next arm of the galaxy, which I like. Let's lock down our control of the territory. All right, we found an anomaly. It's routine 150-day anomaly. Let's go ahead and knock that out. Another change that they've made is that when you find an anomaly, there's no longer a pop-up initially. You'll get the notification up here. And I've already been asked, what are my thoughts on that? My initial reaction is actually quite positive. Wow, our energy income is sucking because we haven't built that many energy stations. Again, wobble, wobble. We could go ahead and build a generator district, but there's not a pop to take advantage of it just yet. Scientist Motel Organ 21 has developed the computing expertise. Hey, good for you. That's not really going to be useful to me at the moment. But what was I saying a moment ago? Yeah, they've changed anomalies, and my thoughts on it are that actually it makes it easier to keep track for me, because you really have to watch for the notifications, and it makes it easier to catch them when they happen, oddly enough. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get this starbase built because I need that energy. All right, nice. Our home scientists have all leveled up. Let's go ahead and not sell alloys. Let's just sell food for now. And we'll sell minerals. We'll hopefully offset that energy deficit before too much longer. Is there anything policy-wise that we can do? Yeah, because trade is... Yeah, we can change our production policy if we wanted to have menial drone output increased, which is all the base resources, but that would be at the expense of alloys and other secondary resources. So I think I'll keep it as is. 42 years and 3 days. A closer scan of the debris field around Tibicor 2b has led to the discovery of an airtight capsule, where is this, containing an atomic clock that measures time with unparalleled precision. It has a frequency uncertainty so low that it will be another 879 million years before it gains a single second, and it is counting down to a date 42 years and 3 days away. The capsule holds no clues as to what this date signifies or who the owners are, but it seems as though someone out there has lost track of the time. We can say keep an eye on it, or it's a bomb, destroy it. Let's keep an eye on it, and we'll get some engineering research for that, so a little bit of a boost there. Okay, I'm going to send you to Grugmora. I'm kind of hesitating to build these next stations for the time being because I don't want to worsen my energy deficit. We want to get that balanced out before we do too much extra building. I think I will build that research station, though. All right, we have some energy production happening here. That's good. All right, let's have you survey there. And actually, I'm going to have you survey there and then there. And then go back out this direction.
We have surveyed the system.
Looks like we can kind of go around this way. And then we'll probably have Auto Explore in place. Ran out of orders there. Couldn't do any more. I don't quite have the influence to expand there yet, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and get a mining station built on Tibicor. All right, a Jaundice 1 is the smaller of the two worlds. Now, because we are... I can't remember what it was that... Hang on. Now I need to remind myself. I think it has to do with... No? I'm not sure why our colony ships are more expensive. When I was practicing as a hive mind, I thought I had the explanation in mind, but now that I'm actually thinking about it, I don't know why they're 500. But hey, it might just be a general change. I don't know that it is, but that could be what it is. All right, I would really like to build that, but we need to wait.
We have surveyed the system.
All right, so we are finding some energy sources in the neighboring systems. Oh, see? Almost missed that anomaly. Good. All right, pause. Now I can improve Corvette build speed, planetary build speed. I like the idea of just faster planetary builds right away. Energy credits from technicians. Seems like that is the way to go right now, given our needs. Yeah, I've already picked a new technology there. Thanks, game. Appreciate it. 1 month away from having another choice. Well, more like 10 days away from having another choice.
Technology conceived.
Okay, so either research station output can be increased by 10% or leader experience gain can be increased. Let's go for the leader experience gain first. And it looks like we might have also just found another anomaly. No, it's that one. Never mind. Food from farmers plus 20%. That's probably going to come in handy, but I'm going to go for monthly unity plus 2 first, because this also gives us campaign edicts, and having those as early as possible is generally a favorable approach. I'm going to send you here. Yeah, we can definitely have some more mining going on as soon as we have energy production to offset. We just need that first. Right, and then we need to wait for a little bit more influence to come in. One thing that can occur is that anomalies can give us lots of influence early on. Invasive exofungus. After intense study and sampling of the growth blanketing entire biospheres on Detonol 2, right here. It's a tundra world. Motile Organ 74 reports that the substance is not native to the planet, but rather an invasive fungal life form of unknown origin. The fungus feeds on biomatter, choking out existing plant life and enveloping terrain. Any future settlers on the planet would have to deal with routinely burning back the exofungus. It is unknown at this point if it can be entirely eradicated. Got some more society research from that. Interesting. Oh wow, look at that. You do get a society research boost, but habitability is reduced by 10 and planetary build speed reduced by a fifth. Pretty significant. Also, bolster our energy a little bit. Alright, so we have found a continental world here, which is quite nice. That is within our class of colonizable worlds, so we have that to look forward to. We found our initial group of colonies, it seems, and it does appear that we have some more energy in Gozam. Slightly more than there is in Errol, so as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and send this construction ship over there. It's a massive galaxy.
We have found an anomaly.
All right. Hellish. Wow. Hellish. I don't know. I probably have seen that before, but it's been so long that I forgot momentarily that it existed. Leave be for now. Yeah, we're not going to look at that right now. We're not even going to try. All right, so now that science ship is going to go that direction. And this construction ship might have more to do shortly. Okay, we need 30 more influence to capture Gozam. What we need is something cool to happen. Challenging. Unusual readings suggest there may be more to this desolate world, Mira 2, than meets the eye. Go ahead and research it. Take a look at it. Got another... Well, this is a pulsar, actually. Not a neutron star, it's a pulsar. So we have this neutron star here in Heka. Alright, so this is the really challenging one. Yeah, I do overall like the fact that the notifications for anomalies pop up just up here now. I found that it actually, again, makes it easier for me to notice. Because one thing that happens a lot, because a lot of anomalies do actually pop up on the screen, is when an anomaly pops up, you have less of a hard time, and I'm talking about in old versions of the game, less of a hard time missing it. But when something else happens at the same time, like let's say you get a notification for a planet being colonized, or a leader leveling up, and an anomaly, so you see two things slide up at the same time, and the anomaly is second, you tend to miss the anomaly. That's how anomalies can pile up in the backlog, because you're not seeing them. Doesn't happen as much with this change. Alright, this is a hard anomaly, but I want to go ahead and research it because, again, anything that might give me additional influence at this point would be welcomed. Alright, so we have lots of alloys. What I'm going to do with that is go ahead and give the order to reinforce Function Throng, which is our very first fleet. And we are probably just going to bomb the crap out of the Garathi civilization because they're too close and too developed for comfort. If they were less advanced, maybe we won't bomb the crap out of them yet. Maybe we'll take advantage of the society research we're getting from them for now, but we will definitely be destroying them. I could potentially enslave them, but we're not going to play that way. We're gonna be even more ruthless than that. Primordial soup. Nestled in sheltered pockets across Mira 2's surface is a rich sludge of simple organic compounds that our researchers believe could be a hotbed for abiogenesis, the spontaneous formation of organic life from lifeless matter. Mira 2 has an unusually thick atmosphere for a barren world, which could make it hospitable for simple life forms. Although this presents a unique opportunity to study what could be the early stages of the origin of life, it would be best to set our expectations low, as it may still be millions of years before life evolved naturally on Mira 2, if at all. Fascinating. Alright, yeah, so that's going to take a while. You can see from how slowly that's ticking up. But I will build that starbase in Forum, which will mostly fix the energy situation and probably leave us in a pretty good spot to wrap up this first episode. Let's give it another minute or two. Starbase is going up quickly. Forum Viranth has leveled up. Very good. So at level 3, Viranth
We have surveyed the system.
Yeah. Mind you, this is going to be an immortal leader. So at level 3, we have 15% longer edict duration for the edicts that are still timed, and then 9% more monthly unity. We found a strategic resource, volatile motes, in the Biham system. Nice and close. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, so I could build...
Our construction is complete.
Let's see. This would give me more maintenance jobs, which let's take a close look really quickly. Maintenance drones produce mainly amenities. Yeah, of course they do. That's what you do when you have a hive district. You see jobs-based production there. That's the amenities icon.
We have found an anomaly.
Have you now? Very hard? Leave it be for now. We've got a lot of hard anomalies. We need our scientists to level up before we start spending too much time on single locations like that. Okay, so we do need to build a mining station here. Good. It's a single mining station for 4 energy. That's better than 2, because 2 would have twice the upkeep. And then we need to get Arai in our territory before long. And then Absaj Amin will have that archaeological site. That could be good for influence. Need to sell again.
We have surveyed the system.
I think it's a truly impressive feature of Stellaris, and it has been this way largely since the game launched, that the beginning moments of the game can play out so differently every time. In terms of just, yes, in terms of narrative and in terms of the people you run into, but just your economy, just the resources that you find. Sometimes you have energy problems, sometimes you don't. You have to be careful not to build too many things that are going to consume energy when you don't have, like I'm doing right now, when you don't have the energy income to offset it. But in general, playing Stellaris, it's not something you have to worry about, like every single game being the same. It does have a tendency to really mix things up on you each time, which is nice. Pops working with research have their upkeep reduced. That could be good. Let's go ahead and do that, because we don't have that many researchers right now, but that will reduce our energy consumption. So I'll take it. We're almost to a point where we can add another system. And it will probably be, I would really like to know what's in that system. But I would say the next one we'll add will be Arai. So let's move over there. And with that order being given, I think I will go ahead and stop this first episode here. In the next one, we are going to resolve, or try to, this slight energy shortage that we have, while also building up. I'm going to give the order to build a few more right there. Building up, actually that is the last 2. Building up function throng, potentially wiping out the Garathi civilization that exists here. These primitives. So again, they are currently in a... Does the tooltip tell me? Yeah, home to a pre-FTL society. Yeah, they're currently in the machine age. I think that leaves one more age before this. So we would need a little bit more time to pass before we really need to worry about them. But haven't encountered any others yet, and that's in a fairly broad radius. There might be some here, but pretty good start. I'm enjoying it so far. Hopefully you are too. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. New episodes are going to be coming out every day at 4 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.